I am an artist. I'm a ceramic artist and I run a business called Kilnhouse in Port St. John, and I make stuff. I'm just a maker. I make things all week, mostly out of clay, but I also do sewing and I also do painting too. So yeah, but mostly with clay. I definitely go for a certain look, like a certain aesthetic. I like to mix like a vintage look with a contemporary vibe, so it kind of gives it an edge. So yeah, like with every piece that I make, I'm trying to make things that I've never seen before and something that does kind of talk about today and like living in this time, but also has like a bit of a vintage look, because that's just the look I like. So yeah, I use a lot of vintage lace, and I stain most everything with like a brown stain, and that helps to give it this kind of vintage look. But then I put like high gloss, bright glazes on top of it, just to kind of give it a contemporary pop. And yeah, I try to go for stuff like that. I'm really inspired by animals. I think that, well, I grew up on a farm, so I definitely adore animals, and I see like a lot of human qualities. It's almost like they can, how could I say it? They can like translate human emotions with their faces and with their demeanor, and so I often have my animals saying things, or talking about relationships, or swearing about things, or saying quotes from songs and stuff like that. Yeah, whatever I'm inspired by. I do a lot of different types of work, and because I do this full time, I find I have to do that to keep it fresh for me all the time, because I don't want to burn out. A lot of artists, when they try to make a living at their art, they can burn out on that medium. Like a lot of potters, they just get sick of making mugs, and like I've been doing this for almost 5 years full time, so I have to watch it. I don't want to burn out on anything, so I do the Rainbow Owl series, and I do a lot of lace stuff, and then I do crazy watercolors, and then I do like stuff with vintage upholstery and vintage fabric and sewing, and then I try to make like some larger sculptural pieces when I have the time, and some jars and some more complicated pieces, as well as mugs, and I just try to keep it constantly fresh for myself so that I don't burn out on anything, and I stay like continuously inspired. So I sort of just try to do what I'm feeling and what I'm feeling really inspired by, and that way the work is inspired, and like my customers pick up on that. People are smart and they know when something is inspired or when it isn't. People always want to buy the things that really were inspired. So I just I work at that constantly. Like I'm constantly printing off pictures online of animals and fashion, and ripping out pages of magazines, and writing down lines from songs, and writing down things my friends say, and just anything that I find is like true or beautiful, I put in my sketchbook, and then I kind of use that as like my Bible of inspiration, and I try and look at that and make things from that. Well, I went to art school when I was young. Like I always wanted to be an artist since I was 4. I knew that. I didn't know how it would pan out exactly. It was just a thing that I knew. And when I went to art school, I figured I would be a painter. That's what I was always doing, or a photographer, or something where I could make a good living. And what happened was I couldn't get into my photography elective, and I got into a ceramics elective, and I took the class, and I was just like, I love it, but I didn't know I was kind of mad in a way because I loved it so much, but I didn't want to be like a quote-unquote potter. I knew I didn't want to like sit at a wheel and make the same piece. And I didn't realize there was other options at that time, but I just went with my gut and just followed that and took that as my major and ended up getting a degree in ceramics. And luckily, like after learning all, you know, you learn all the history and you learn how to make everything and about good craftsmanship and how to do all the different firings and make glazes. And then after graduation, I was able, when I came home and started my own business, I was able to like take those skills and then try to really have my own voice with it, you know. And like I'm doing one of a kind of pottery, and I didn't know if it would pan out at all. I just knew that's what I wanted to do. And so that's what I did, and it's doing okay. I mean, I'm making a living. I'm not rich. I mean, it's a struggle for sure. Like, I have to be honest. It's not easy to be an artist and make a living this way. This is all I do. I don't waitress on the side or like have a sugar daddy or anything like that. It's just like pure art. So you have to get up every day and make stuff no matter what. No matter what. So I know my parents are always like, you gotta just get up at 7, go to work, you'll get way more done, but that isn't always the way it works for me. Lots of times I stay up really late and then I'll sleep in. It kind of depends, or sometimes I'm trying to do yoga right now, so on those days I have to tell myself like stop creating at 10 o'clock so that you can get up early so that you can be done early to go to yoga. But yeah, you kind of have to just be honest with yourself, and when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. That sounds really cheesy, but like if you put it off, you won't do it. It's like if you're feeling it, do it. Just make yourself do it. Like, so yeah, I stay up late lots of times. I did a show in the summer in Vancouver. It was the One of a Kind show, and it's the biggest craft fair in Canada. So it was high pressure for me to do this. I wanted to bring like the best work of my life down there. And so yeah, I closed my store for 6 weeks and I just worked, and I was in this weird zone where I was coming to work at noon and working till 2 or 3 and getting home so late and watching the weirdest TV programs because I had never stayed up that late and watched TV before. And yeah, I was in that zone for weeks, and I kept my door locked. I was just like, work. And yeah. Me and my mom drove down and had my station wagon packed to the nines, and we felt like the Beverly Hillbillies. Like, I came in there with Tupperwares covered in clay, and it just looked like we were total hillbillies. But anyways, then we unpacked it all and it looked really good. And yeah, it was open to the public for 3 days, and that it was like 30,000 people came through. And yeah, I sold my like pièce de résistance piece. It was this buffalo that I made, a buffalo sculpture, and he had a gold ring in his nose, and he had flowers in his hair. He was beautiful. And a real estate agent bought that piece. That was my biggest piece, so I was really excited about that. And yeah, it was the same type of response down there. It was a lot of young women being like, oh my God, you know, freaking out because they hadn't seen pottery like that with, you know, like a deer swearing or like a leopard, and with like kind of neon glaze and just kind of more contemporary rather than just like a blue mug, you know, kind of thing. Like, full respect to blue mugs. There's a place for those for sure, but it's just, I'm trying to do something different that I've never seen before. So yeah, it was a good response. Yeah, I'm selling my mugs now. I think they're sold out, but I brought my mugs to the BC Gallery of Ceramics. And so that's like the nicest gallery in BC for ceramic artists, and they took my mugs and sold them there, and they all sold, so that's good. And actually that's my next like goal, is that I want to have a show there. So I printed out the application. I got to apply for this show. The thing is, you have to apply 2 years in advance, so it's hard to come up with something that you're gonna want to make 2 years in advance, because like already I hate the work that I made last year, so it's gonna have to be a pretty good idea. I'm really gonna have to think about this to come up with something good enough. And then yeah, it goes through an entire jury process, and you know, who knows if they let you in. But if they do let you in and you do get a show there, that's like a great thing to do for an artist like me, because they have like actual ceramic collectors, people that are like serious about their ceramics, and it can take you places, and who knows, like New York City.
It's so cool.
That would be like the dream. Yeah, to get like, yeah, some real exposure. Yeah, like making something really challenging and new, it gives you like a high. It does, when you're in the zone and you just like completely, you have to like be brave. You do have to be brave, because you can't worry about it not working out at all, and you can't worry about what people think at all. You just have to be true to yourself. It sounds cheesy, but it's true. You have to just like let it go, let your ego go, and just try. And sometimes it explodes, and that's happened to me. It's been heartbreaking. I've put time into pieces and they've exploded in the kiln, like big pieces, and that happens, but you just gotta take it on the chin and keep going. Definitely try, like even with a little mug or a shot glass or a necklace or a magnet, anything, to like treat that piece as its own piece of art, and try to make that like something I've never seen before. And just, I'm constantly trying to like one-up myself and make things better, because I have to be completely self-motivated. So the best self-motivation tool I can think of is just to try to continuously be better and do better work than I did last year, and make the pieces more complicated, more interesting, more beautiful, more everything all the time. So yeah.